being poor is expensive. Just like, you know, like a lot of us, we grew up in working class environments, yeah? Just a lot of us, man. Black people, white people, a lot of Irish people that man grew up around, a lot of Arabic people man grew up around, Moroccans and Egyptians in particular. But just growing up in these environments, bro, like the cost of being poor is expensive. Everything costs us more. So whether that's like a lack of quality of food, lack of healthcare, living in sort of like these harsher environments, and then those, like, all those poor things compound over a period of time, and then eventually the ultimate cost is your life, really. And so some of these environments, like, there are high crime rates, high violence rates, where there's and it's not a black problem, it's not a white problem, it's really a poor problem, because wherever you find poverty, you find higher crime rates. So that's really what it's about. And then the cost of being poor is, even when you do eventually maybe make it out, you are sort of behind anyway. So everything you're doing is like, you're kind of thinking on your feet and making mistakes. So when you first start getting money, maybe like you don't have your taxes covered, but that's because you don't have the financial education in order to maximize your situation.
When I listen to the album, I feel like I'm in Northwest London.
Yes.
Like, I really get that vibe. I really like understand your surroundings, your environment, how you grew up, what you had to deal with. It's all very revealing in listening to the album.
Yeah.
Obviously, you hadn't partaken in music heavily for a number of years. So what made you want to do this album now?
Well, I feel like I had something to say. I was away, right? I was shooting a series in America. I was in LA, and it was COVID, like pandemic times, lockdown. And it was the first time in about 9 years that I'd had a break in my acting career. It's been jobs back to back. So I hadn't really had time to really focus on music. But then I just had this moment of like, I don't know, man, I just felt this calling, this vibe. And I thought, if I don't write down my thoughts now, like I'm never gonna get them down. And it started to become therapeutic for me, bro. Like, because I was addressing a lot of, I think, trauma and stuff that I'd sort of like forgotten about and buried deep, like that I think a lot of people do. A lot of people like us grow up experiencing these things, but then just like brush it off and never really address it. And it wasn't an album at first, it was just like, let me get down these thoughts. And just having to identify certain things about myself that I hadn't admitted to myself, you know. Like, there's a line on the album where I say, keeping it real, I spent most of my teen shook. Like, I thought that, nah man, I was around and like could handle myself or whatever, but really when I think about it now, I was just like scared half the time, and that's why I was behaving like that or acting like that. Or, you know, you got a certain bop, the way you're doing, you're walking past people, you're behaving a certain way, but you're not behaving that way because you're super confident. You're behaving that way because maybe you feel a bit intimidated or scared. So,
but what was really shocking to me was how good you were in 2024 as a man that hasn't been like practicing much, it feels like. And then I just listened to it and I was like, how is he that, how, like, it just doesn't even make any sense, to be real. Like, how have you, like, and you know, like I said, like, I felt like some of us throw around the word legend a lot because some people were there at the start of things. But I feel like the difference between those types of people sometimes are pioneers. Like, they need to be distinguished between pioneers and legends. And I feel like with this body of work here, and you being a pioneer from what you was before, like, there's no question now, like, you've released something that is so important to Black British music, and you ain't been practicing that. Why? How are you still so good? How did you become better?
I feel like now I have the articulation and dexterity to be able to do it that maybe I didn't have previously. There were moments where it was there, like a fire in the booth with Charlie stuff. There are moments where I'm saying things, but I just don't think that I had the full control of myself yet. And when I think about it, I wrote Black Boys when I was 21. So really I was young anyway. I was just like, trying to figure out my life as a young man, and then figure it out in the craft as well, same time. So yeah, like just keeping listening to the music, man, and just staying involved in the culture from the outside, but just, you know, listening and paying attention. And then what else? But I don't know, man. I remember, I've told you before, like, that's what I was thankful, like, you were keeping me around the culture as well. Anytime there's something going on, like, I know I can be a bit of a hermit.
Yeah.
a bit
you got the elusive thing going on.
a bit antisocial sometimes.